afternoon, everybody. This is the one and only here on the YouTube channel here, Heavy Metal 95 here. Tomorrow's Halloween. We got a brand new metal song history video for today's video. Today's metal song history topic, we're going to be talking about the song from the one and only King Diamond with the song Halloween from the album Fatal Portrait, which is the very first debut album from King Diamond, which was released back in, 1986. But I'm here to be talking about the song Halloween by King Diamond for this one. In honor of tomorrow's Halloween, which is right around the corner, though, because I have a feeling, even though this album, Fatal Portrait, was released back in the 14th of March in 1986, we're going to be talking about the 7th track off the song, Halloween. Yes, that's the one I'm going to be talking about. So, when King Diamond did the song Halloween, I just wanted to come by of how it's funny to say this as well, because it started off of how from whenever I wanted to come by to the whole thing, which is also released as the hit single right off of this album. These lyrics dealing with the ancient scene of how this describes about how Halloween and the pride of how the protagonist describing of how the moon is full with a perfect day, like a demon's eye, the devil's eye, of how another evil scene in horror dreams, when the protagonist wanted to give the listener to scream. That's what those lyrical themes of how this goes on for the song, like Halloween by King Diamond. Even though this song was also released as a hit single, because this has ever come into by. Unlike No Presents for Christmas by King Diamond, Halloween is the primary example for what the song Halloween is of how this goes in the meaning, about how you wanted to come by on these lyrical themes of how this could have been a perfect song for the Halloween related holiday, for if you're listening to this at a Halloween party, if this could have been commonly known by most listeners, for how, considering that this song, describing of how it devolves in the dark, internal celebration of the macabre, of how this portrays the night fused with the spirit of Halloween and haunting the events from the past, with these horror and supernatural themes, which is not just a single night event, but as a omnipresent and the haunting force on the life of the protagonist has, of how every scene is eerie, filled with these ghostly imageries, of how this combining with theatrical vocals, with the whole little spooky atmosphere, with some sinister melodies. These have those narrative context for what King Diamond has in those lyrics involving spirits, curses, and revenge. For example, the supernatural presence of how the spirits and the ghosts are central on those narrative themes creates the ongoing tension between the living and the dead. On the whole, Trick or Treat as a symbolic game for how this interpretations of how this becomes a representative of those moral choices, punishment, or some macabre fun. With some, as saying goes, with these immortalizing characters of how stories featuring children, victims, or magical portraits of how transcending to death, of how this reflecting King Diamond's fascination with revenge and the haunting of the perpetrators, according from whenever. This is how the whole haunting scenarios in his own border Halloween narrative, like from most albums and live shows and concerts, of how this tells a horrific storytelling for what King Diamond did when he did the song Halloween, of how this referring to is of how a patron saint of those embodying the atmosphere of those holiday through the albums. How he emphasizing the October traditions with the thrills of supernatural and storytelling, of how these resonating with both fantasy and fear, two or less, for especially when they performed this in live shows, of how he enhancing theatrical elements, of how when King Diamond performed Halloween live with these immersing the audiences in the spirit of holiday, of how this transforming a song personifying the haunted eternal nature of Halloween, of how his persona and artistry with the whole dark music with the fusions of horror storytelling, more different aside from your average Halloween tradition, of how this is the whole exclamation, which is a Halloween related event. Yeah, of course, King Diamond did perform the song Halloween live in concerts. When they performed live at the Fillmore, when they performed live in concert, such as Songs for the Dead live, when they performed live in Philadelphia. Yes, this is how I wanted to come across for how this song is get to the whole of my curiosity. And yes, this song has been performed live in concerts, and this is definitely one of them. Because that's from whenever I wanted to come by for a song like Halloween by King Diamond. In a more explanation for how this became the most primary way of how this song has performed live. Yes, this is the one. And this is actually one of them. Because, come to think of it, I never knew King Diamond did this song when they recorded on the Fatal Portrait album, which is the 7th track. Aside from No Presents for Christmas by King Diamond, Halloween is one of them, because this is the logic on this as well. the whole opportunity of this because how the storytelling in a more horror-like feel, and this is a lot more very commonly known for most of this as well. Yes, that's the song Halloween by King Diamond, because there's some guitar solos from Andy LaRocque and Michael Danner on the song Halloween, because I never knew this featured Michael Danner, who is the former, the former guitarist of Merciful Fate. He did the guitar solo on the song Halloween by King Diamond. Just consider it's a lot very common, and this has been performed in concerts, and it's a lot very popular among the fans of King Diamond and Merciful Fate in general, because that's how I wanted to come by for a song like this. And this is how I wanted to discover this, because that's the whole come across to this. Yep. Because I just loved the whole fusion of sinister melodies, heavy metal guitar solos, with the fusion of the horror storytelling for what King Diamond had a lot to do for this song. Of how it's like a typical horror story type song for that has always been come in the whole thing. Just considered King Diamond is the patron saint of heavy metal. All Halloween, as if I can wanted to come by to my whole thing. For the whole thing. The song is good. I loved it. Very perfect to listen to, because that's for the overall as well. The guitar solos are unique and brilliant. The vocals of King Diamond are excellent. 10 out of 10 for this song as well. So that's going to be it for my video for today. Thank you for watching. Subscribe to my channel, especially if you're new to the channel. Smack the like button if you enjoyed the video. Hit the notifications bell button for more surprises. Be sure to leave a comment in the comment section below if you like as well. This is Heavy Metal 95 signing off, and thank you for watching the video. I'm glad you liked it. Hope you enjoy it. Hope to see you soon for the next video. Be sure to stay safe and stay healthy. Hope you all have a great day, because tomorrow's Halloween. Take care. Goodbye for now. Keep it metal for this video.